So I'm just sat in a cafe, taken 2 client calls, but I wanted to tell you about the event that I went to earlier. The thing is with events, what I've realised is you've got to be very particular about what you go to. Like, I've wasted so much time in my life going to events that I probably should have never gone to. And I kind of felt like today I made that mistake again. I was kind of hoping for a bit more, but the really good thing, I didn't learn anything, which I think is great. But the good thing is people asked questions, and I always find that the questions that people ask help me then with my content, because I already knew what was being spoken about in the talk, which was reassuring for me. But it really helped me to understand, like, how am I going to do some LinkedIn posts around the questions that the audience members have, and my Instagram and my TikTok and YouTube, like, how can I create content so I don't feel like I've wasted time, but I kind of, yeah. So what they were talking about was personas. I talk about personas. I've been on so many podcasts talking about personas. They're incredibly helpful within an organisation. Like, you should be asking your team questions so that you can build personas, and having like 5 personas within an organisation. They're very helpful to know how your team like to communicate, stuff like that. And it's interesting hearing other people's questions. I love it. It's good, but I'm also ready to go back home now. So I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna do a food shop. I've stopped doing Callo because we're going to Japan. It doesn't work with time frames because weirdly you can only pay for a month. But yeah, I'm gonna go in a food shop and I will bring you to more events this week. I feel like transitioning from the last video to this video will feel different because I don't feel incredible. This flu that is going round, potentially COVID, potentially just a girl who's taking in the new weather. But this morning I felt, and all day actually, it's like 7:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, just felt so heavy. But this is the thing, when you run your own business, you don't have sick days. Like, you lose that luxury when you leave the corporate world. So today, as much as people have told me, like, just take a day off, relax, I had deadlines. I had a call this afternoon for a new client, potentially working together. Well, we said yes to working together. We're just getting dates together for October. This is the part of consultancy people need to realise, to be honest. Like, I would have loved to have spent today in bed, but no, we power on. I think also why I'm starting to feel rubbish again is taking more medication before bed, but it's Tuesday and we know what happens on a Tuesday. I play netball, so I have netball at 8:40. Every week I'm asking myself, why did I say yes to this? Why did I say yes? Do you know why? Because it gets me away from this desk. Today, I have been working on a restructure. We have been looking at a long-term sickness absence. We've also been working on role clarity frameworking. So this is working with a new client. They've got 3 directors, but we actually have no clarity. They refer to themselves as director 1, 2, 3, which is of course confusing. So we're actually bringing in role clarity and then communication around that clarity around that communication. Bear with me in this. I really hope I feel better tomorrow, because otherwise this vlog is going to be slow. It's going to be a real slow build. But you know, another thing that I've been doing today, which is really interesting, is around gossiping. So I have been in cultures where we have really proactively shut down gossiping. When I was in corporate, like, we very much had like a 0 tolerance. You don't talk about each other. You can of course talk about home, but we're a professional environment and we don't tolerate those sort of conversations. The interesting thing with being a consultant is you go into environments that of course are not natural to you, so you kind of like absorb those cultures, which is fine. But then when there's legacy problems that have happened for years, like gossiping, it's actually really quite a challenge I'm quite enjoying, actually, around
how do we overcome that? How do we stop those behaviours? And it's about small acorns with that. So we're actually doing a big piece here with the management team to get the management team on board, as we all know, it all starts from the top. So we're doing a big piece of work with managers, and we're actually putting in pillars for managers. So we're coming together with like 3 to 4 pillars around like accountability, ownership, responsibility, and around being like strategically aware, but also being a coach. Like we're going to put them together. As you can tell, it's very, very early stages. These are words that the management team have been spitballing, and we're co-creating with the managers to build these as well, because where we want to get to is a culture that we're really proud of, but also one that really aligned with where the business is moving to, not where we were last year. So yeah, that's been a challenge of getting people to get away from those behaviours that are so familiar to them, that for me are so foreign. Like I've literally come in and I was speaking with one of the senior managers today, and I'm like, I cannot get my head around why this is happening, because we're at work. Like we shouldn't be talking about each other illy, and it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense, but this is where I come in and like really help to build out the infrastructure and build a culture we are proud of. It is one of the questions I ask all my clients that we work with. Do you have a culture that you're proud of? And the answer isn't always yes. I feel like that's a much harder question to answer than do you have your HR? Because they're like, yeah, I've got a contract and a policy and all that jazz. But that's where I've been really working on. Been a challenge for me, especially when I'm not in the team as much. I am more external, of course, has really good perks of that. But the big piece is getting the management team on board, it's basically we're going through a reset. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do a reset with everybody, re-establish expectations, re-establish boundaries, re-establish behaviours, because culture is behaviours, is what we allow and what we don't allow at work. So when there are behaviours that we are allowing, like culture, and if there are behaviours that we are allowing, like gossiping, and we're enabling on that gossiping, we're participating in the banter, we're not shutting it down, that creates a culture then where gossiping is tolerated and accepted. Whereas we need to put those behaviours of acceptable standards in place, get the management team on board to hold not only themselves accountable, but their team accountable, and just see it as small acorns, small steps every single day. The thing is, to change a culture, it takes a really, really long time. And when things within a culture are so deeply embedded within it, it can be really hard. So that's something that this week I'm working on. And to be honest, I think it's good, because this is also the reality of a lot of working worlds, especially when you go from a team of like 10 where we're all really close, really pally, to then like 20 when we get serious, we have structure, we have layers, we have serious people who come into the business. That's when it's important. I always notice at this particular point. But yeah, I have just tried to cope through the day. I'm through all my daily meds, but I've got one more that I take before bed. But that's got paracetamol in, and I've been usually taking it later. But hey ho, we'll vibe with that. And yeah, go netball tomorrow. What am I doing tomorrow? I'm speaking with a speaker agency. If anybody knows me, you know that 2026 is my year of speaking. I'm gonna move from being just here in the UK to an international speaker. It is on my vision board, and I'm not a manifest girly. I'm really not. I'm more of a make things happen girl. So for me, international speaking is a huge thing. I'm taking my workshops and I'm basically magnifying them. So I'm speaking with a speaking agency to really help me get my voice out there for speaking opportunities for 2026 and beyond. So watch this space. I'll bring you along tomorrow actually. It is a virtual call. It's going to be here whilst I'm working from home. And then again, I'm back to Leeds for another Leeds Digital Festival. The one that I'm going to tomorrow, which is in person, is how to make an app in 90 minutes. Because I'm a curious gal and technology is something that we should all have our radar, so I'm going to do that. There is also 2 virtual webinar things that are happening tomorrow for Leeds Digital Festival around how to create a customer experience for people who are 50 plus, which, given we have an aging generation, That is so important for me to know, because if you can master customer experience for 50 plus, why can we not master employee experience for 50 plus? Thinking about all our demographics. And we have 5 generations who are working together at once at the moment. So learning a lot. I'll come back on here and tell you my takeaways just like I did from Monday. But this is a good week of learning for me. And if not, I'll share with you guys. So make sure you stay until the end, because I'm doing all of these until Friday. The very last one is Friday. So if you love learning, then it's a good job you're watching this week. And hopefully throughout the week you see me looking and feeling better. That's the aim. Aim of the game. But for now, I'm gonna go have like a hot steamy drink, get ready for netball, and then wake up at 6 a.m. as I usually do. So I'll see you tomorrow. Have I had a good day? Yes. So I told you 0.2 seconds ago that I was attending a few virtual events for Leeds Digital Festival. I did exactly that this morning. So we were talking about how to, not we, I wasn't talking, I was just listening, but the panel was talking about how to create experiences for demographics that are 50 plus. And I really loved that they talk about like authenticity is a really key piece, but also getting their buy-in for any process, which I think absolutely translates to employee experience. Then I listened to a webinar on data protection and the legislation changes. Was it a bit boring? Yes, but it's important and I need to know it. And then I have just come off of a call with a talent agency for speaking. So I have been talking on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, how I want to be on an international stage next year. I want to continue speaking. I want to continue getting my perspective out there and sharing knowledge and genuinely creating great places for work for a modern world. And I've just had such a good conversation around like what that would look like, which is good for me to understand like the commission structure. So the difference is, with a speaking bureau, how they work is they will add the percentage on top of your fee when they charge you out. The difference with a talent agent is they take a percentage off of your fee, if that makes sense. So it's understanding that, also around like exclusivity, what if it's an inbound lead compared to them doing all the work and getting it in, so having conversations around that. Thankfully, I'm the only person in HR that they would have on their roster. They don't have anybody else, which is great. They seem really excited and I'm really excited. The thing is, I'm considered quite new in the speaking world, even though I've been on stages for the last 12 months. I'm the host of a podcast. I've spoke with Leeds Business University, Moonpig, loads. Like I've done some really great things, but I am still considered quite new. I don't have a show reel, nothing of that nature. So these are all the things now I need to start and build. And I need to up my prices, basically, is the kind of feedback that I've got from him, which is, of course, amazing. The really, like, scary but amazing thing is, he was like, okay, so you're not here because you're on holiday, so I won't start putting you out now, because what if they say we've got a gig for tomorrow? And I was like, it can work that quickly, which is great. So yeah, I'm had some really good conversations. He's going to send over all terms. There's also a lot for me to think about. Like I've got to come up with like 4 to 8 talks. I already had 3. So building them out, because what if they do say yes tomorrow? Like I need to have my slide deck ready. I need a cute outfit. Like there's loads of things I need to think about. But I feel energized and excited, and hearing what he's also doing with the other talent and the speakers, that is me. That is me. And you've heard it here first. I will be doing 2 to 3 speaking opportunities next year. Mark my words. And I'm going to play this back in the 2026 YouTube when I've done it. That is where I can create more impact in this world. HR is dead. We need modernization. We need to inject that energy into it and build a place where we can go to work that actually fits who we are. We want impact, we want connection, we want purpose, not have you followed this SOP and talk to me like a child. So yeah, I feel really good. They also support with marketing. I'm just looking at my notes that I took. The only thing with me is I write notes, but then I write all over the page. Like I literally just sprawl everywhere. But I'm feeling really good. It was a good conversation. I just want him to like send it all over. And now I need to work on slide decks, keynotes, getting this out there. I'm excited, but also like scared, like I made this happen. Do you know what the thing is? I have been following this guy who runs the business for ages. I think like 8 months. And I was talking to a friend and I was like, oh, like he does speaking gigs for like really big people, like really well, like big maverick speakers. My friend was like, well, what have you got to lose? Just message him. So I messaged him and I was like, hey, I'm just going to shoot my shot. What would it take to work with you? And he messaged and was like, that message alone, let's absolutely get on a call. And here we are. So this is my moment, guys. This is my moment. I'm going to change my future and get on more stages. Still nasally, but we move. I'm excited. I'll tell you more once all the docs come in, but this is happening! See you tomorrow. Welcome back. It's Friday, we're back, and this week has gone so quick, but also felt like a lifetime. I'm finally feeling better. You will have seen during this week's vlog, there's like nasal city. Been deep in there, but feeling better, and thankfully so, because tomorrow I'm down in London for my best friend's 30th birthday. So yeah, I'm feeling good, feeling fresh. I had a call yesterday, and it was a networking call. I've mentioned on here before that I'm part of a networking group called Roundtable, and we also have, essentially, it's like a coaching session every month with one of the members called Colby. I had a call with him yesterday. It was a group session, but you'd like get the time to, you know, talk about major points and major like friction points and things like that. And I was talking to him about a masterclass I want to run. And he was so helpful that now I feel like really energized. I've done a poll on LinkedIn asking people like, what do you want to see and hear in this masterclass? And yeah, I'm feeling good today. Today I only have 2 client calls. One is a welfare call with a team member and another is for a performance management issue that we're having. So doing a bit of a performance deep dive with that client later, and then actually I'm filming content. So today is all about filming content. I have really kickstarted my Instagram, so I'm gonna pop that on here. Give me a follow. I have neglected Instagram for so long. I just thought it wasn't the space for me. I've got a feeling that I am wrong, and I'm pleasantly surprised that I'm wrong. The videos on there are doing great, like they're getting good traction. I feel good with content. Honestly, about 6 weeks ago, I thought, why am I doing all of this? Like, what is the point? Because of being a business owner, then being a creator, and I'm moving into speaking and masterclasses and doing everything. It's like, do I really need to keep up my content? The answer is helly yes. Absolutely, you need to. I started my whole business and got recognised for my LinkedIn content and my socials, so rinse and repeat. Ran out of normal milk this morning, so I'm an oat milk girly. So this week I've actually been reflecting on 2026 and what I want for myself for next year, and I really want clarity. I want clarity of where I'm going, clarity of the impact that I'm making, and clarity to myself. Like, I'm quite a whirlwind, lots happens, and what I'm realizing now is I have a great following, I have great clients. I want to push myself. There is also something new that I am working on, and it's basically a new business. So this is my first time teasing it. I've told you before that I've been having some calls that, you know, hush hush for now. I am starting a new business. Can't tell you anymore. I'm really sorry, but we are such early stages, such early stages. But I'm doing this one differently. I have co-founders. We're building something incredible. It's a pain point that every single HR professional and founder feels deeply. And I've got a solution for it. So, lots has been happening. Very excited.
Going into 2026, I'll definitely have more that I can show you, which will make a hell of a lot more sense, and I actually might just like put this clip into it at that point. But for now, the biggest thing I want you to know is 12 months from now, I'm going to be a completely different person. And I'm going to be really proud of where I am, and I want you guys to do the same. I want each of you to look ahead to 2026 of what do you want? What do you want your one word for 2026 to be? 12 months from now, you're looking in the mirror and there's one word that you want to represent your year. What do you want it to be? That way, you can hold yourself accountable. I'm actually doing this with my community members. So if you are in HR and you are Manchester based, or you're happy to travel to Manchester on the 8th of November, come along. We're essentially holding a Building for Me in 2026 morning. It's vision boarding, it's planning, it's getting clarity, it's bringing things to life. We're very visual people, not about manifesting and putting it on a board and see you next year, but what are you actually gonna do to get you one step closer to your dream life? So we're doing that 8th of November because I genuinely do believe I have had the best year, because 12 months ago I set my word as focus. Focus. I wanted to focus on what was going to make me happy, focus on what was going to make an impact on the business, but also focus on what is going to move the business forward. I was too much of a yes person. I was saying yes to every man and his dog, didn't need to. So focusing on actually only saying yes to new opportunities, to exciting conversations that were going to rock my world and energize me and move my business forward. That's what I said yes to. Things like the podcast, things like speaking in certain articles, things like speaking opportunities, things like YouTube. All of this, I focused, I really focused. So that was my word for last year. And next year is clarity. I want to be very clear on every single thing. I'm feeling good. I hope you are too. Hope you feel inspired. And I would love to know actually, when you've decided on your word, pop it in the comments. Let me know, because we're on this journey together. I'm building in real time, and especially with the new business, once we have our, I can't say it, but once we have our thing, you will know more, and I'll bring you on for that a lot more, because it's all like BTS and everything we're building in the background. For now, just make sure you follow along, because I don't want you to miss out. Something that will be amazing. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. And I love you and leave you. Enjoy your Friday, enjoy your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.